Mr. Sambridge. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Sambridge, tell me about yourself first.
I'm from the UK, I'm from London. I grew up in London, went to school in London, went to university in London. And I did all sorts of things. I worked in education, I worked in technology and in design. And I went out and worked in Uganda for 8 years, about 14 years ago. And then I moved to Kenya about 5 years ago.
So you've been in Kenya for the last 5 years?
I've been here for the last 5 years, and that's where I met the founders of the other Elimu, of Elimu e-learning company, where I've been working for the last 2 years.
Thank you very much. Welcome very much to my show, Education Matters. You see, we are talking about EdTech issues, education technology, and you are here telling us about Elimu. Could you kindly give us a brief of Elimu? What is it? How long has it been there? What does it do with place?
So for us, we say Elimu because it's e-learning, email. We're using the E from electronic. Yes. Although I know the proper pronunciation for education is Elimu.
Yes.
So Elimu was started in 2012 by two Kenyan women, by Nidhi Mukherjee, now Nidhi Sharma, and Marie Githinji. And they got talking about education, about the need to serve underserved children, and about how the world was changing, about how technology was coming, and how we could use technology to enhance education and to create better, more interesting, more interactive learning experiences for children using technology.
So I see here from your publicity materials, you have apps for schools. Do you have only apps or do you have other facilities? Give a brief range of your product range. What exactly do you have under Elimu?
So we are focused on primary schools. We've got two main apps. One is for teaching literacy in English and in Kiswahili. It's called Hadithi Hadithi. And it includes lots of different stories written by Kenyan teachers, illustrated by artists all over East Africa, and voiced by actors and celebrities.
Some celebrities are involved?
Yeah, so
mention one.
Caroline Matoko is there.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were very fortunate to make a partnership with her. We showed her what she was doing, we showed her what we were doing. She was excited to see it, and she volunteered to come in and record some stories for us.
Yes.
But what we're trying to do is make really good digital content for Kenya. So you can find literacy apps from Europe and the US, but they're always about apples and winter and snow and polar bears. But our stories are written by Kenyan teachers, so they're about mangoes and lions and monkeys, and about Watamu and Nairobi, and places and faces and people and voices that we can relate to.
So you mentioned that you have a focus for primary school. So you have all the classes from class 1 to 8, or you have for some?
So I was just telling you about the literacy act for class 1 and 2,
yes.
And we focus there because that's where the government focus is on. We know that if we can improve literacy at an early stage, it has huge effects throughout school. But our other focus, our other app, is for revision, for KCPE.
Yes.
So that's for class 7 and class 8. That's for students when they're really kind of thinking about having to do that exam, having to prepare for it, being ready to get the best out of it that they can. And so there we have the entire curriculum on an app.
All the subjects?
All the subjects, maths, English, social studies, science, Kiswahili, CRE and IRE. And they can revise all those topics, and it's not just textbook material, it's pictures, it's audio, it's videos, it's animations. So it's much more fun and engaging than the old school traditional way of teaching.
From the farthest of time, what's the uptake? How is the liking? How is the market responding to your product?
Well, it's been fantastic so far. So we're already in over 100 schools in Kenya.
100 schools in Kenya?
Yeah.
How many counties? Spread over how many?
Gosh, they're all over the place. There's some in Mombasa and Kwale in the coastal area. There's some in Kisumu. There's some in Nairobi. There's even some in. There's one school in Samburu, which is a great story. There's a women's group that actually uses the teaching materials at weekends. They come into the school and they're teaching themselves how to read and write and KCPE topics, but they're women that missed out on school.
What are the handling requirements that maybe a learner, when the learner be at home or be in school, are required to have for him to be able to consume your content? Hardware requirements first, then you'll also look at the element of need he be online or offline.
Yeah. So they can, we've all got Android phones now. So I think the statistics say something like 50% of families now have access to an Android phone.
Yes.
So our apps have to be on Android, and that way parents can get them. And then the next step is being comfortable enough, maybe getting your child to use your Android phone for education. So we're there for parents, and then we're there for schools also. So schools might have desktops or laptops or tablets, like the DigiSchools project. And so what we can do is we can make our apps work through something like Google Chrome or Firefox through a browser, and then they can work on any of those devices. So whatever device you have, we have a solution.
So you are available on both the handheld devices, small devices, and also the online for laptop and internet connectivity.
Yeah, so I'm hoping later on I can give you a demo and show you how it works with the Android apps, and then you can see for yourself. But yes, so it's also offline, and I think that was the second part of your question. So schools don't want to pay for data, especially if you have 40 children in a class. That's going to be a lot of data. So we can download our apps to a computer in a school, and then through that computer they can then access the apps without having to pay for any data. And it's even the same as a parent. So again, you download all the material one time, maybe you try and do it somewhere where there's some free Wi-Fi, and then you can use it for free after that.
What are the consumption costs on the side of the user? If I'm the parent of my child, how much do I have to pay? If I'm the principal director of a particular school, how much do I have to pay to access your content?
Yeah. So for a parent, all the content is available online for free. What we charge for is doing exams. So you can do a past paper from 2000 up to 2016. There's over 100 past papers. And you can do a
2000 to 2016.
Yeah.
17 years.
Yeah.
KCP, Kenyan exam standard.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's every subject. That's all 6 subjects. So that's over 100 exams. And you can do each exam for 10 shillings. Basically, you can borrow it for a day for 10 shillings. Or if you're a businessman or a politician and you want to buy all the content, you can do all the exams for 1,500 shillings and then have complete open access to it. But if you want to pay in bite sizes in small amounts, then you can pay 10 shillings for each exam.
Now let me get it right. Did you say the content is free? You only charge for the exams?
Exactly.
Including the one at the lower primary where you have the Hadidi.
Yeah.
All that content is all free, or you have to pay to consume that content?
So for the stories, you have to pay for the stories. So we give you a few stories for the literacy app. We give you a few stories for free, and then you can pay for each additional story.
What's the rate of addition, adding up the other stories? What's the cost of adding the next story, and how do I pay for it? The payment procedure. So
it should be 50 shillings for each story, and you'll be paying using M-Pesa. So yeah, it has to be simple. It has to work for everyone, and we know that M-Pesa is how everyone pays for stuff today. So we've integrated M-Pesa.
How have you engaged all the directors, the management and leaders of schools to try to sensitize them about your content, as well as the teachers and the staff? What's your experience with them, working with them?
Well, yeah, we have seen that it's all about teacher training. So the first school that we went into and did a big project in was Embakasi Garrison Primary School, which was a huge public school. and we gave them a lot of materials, and to be frank, we didn't give enough training at the beginning. And we realized after some time that we needed to go back, we needed to do more training, because we've seen there are schools all over Kenya that have devices and they're not being used. And that's partly because the teachers do not have enough training. And when we say training, we don't just mean do they know how the technology works, but do they actually know, for example, how to get it set up in the classroom in 5 minutes? You know, a new teacher using technology for the first time, it can take 15 minutes to set up a lesson, 15 minutes to put it back, then you have to charge the devices, you have to get everyone on the same page. It's a learning curve.
What are you doing about that? The element of the training the teachers for enhanced consumption. What exactly are you doing about that?
So every time we go into a school, we do a big training at the beginning. So we do up to a week's training, hands-on with the teachers, with demonstrations. So they're not just kind of doing an academic training, they're using the devices, and then we do practicals. So we bring students in and we do practicals with the students and the teachers. And we support them during those practicals, but the whole point is to give them the knowledge and the confidence to be happy using devices and comfortable using them. And really just to understand that technology is not there to replace the teacher, it's something to support them and to make them a better teacher.
To what extent are you trying to let the teachers appreciate that ICT is not for the ICT teacher? ICT is for all the teachers. For example, I'm saying that in your content you have Kiswahili, you have social studies. How do you try to ensure the teacher appreciates that content is already there? Now they integrate with their own user-generated content and make sure how do you bridge the gap between the content that's sitting on the app and the content that's sitting in the teacher's notes? How do you bridge that?
Well, so all our content is of course aligned with the curriculum, and we have an ongoing relationship with KICD as well. So yeah, you can't make educational materials unless they rhyme with the curriculum. So we do that. We also work with Moran Publishers, which is an established textbook publisher as well. We work with Aga Khan Foundation as well, who do a lot of work in primary schools. So we have those partners helping us generate content that is that matches the curriculum and that rhymes with the pedagogies, the teaching methods that they're already using. But what we're trying to say is that, again, we're not trying to replace textbooks or replace maps or charts or anything else. We are another tool in the teacher's toolbox to use and hopefully use to a point where we can actually improve educational outcomes.
Could you comment on the element of inclusivity? How does the remote help bridging the gap? There was the so-called digital divide.
Yeah.
Where is your content being consumed? Is it being consumed in public primary schools?
Yeah.
Is it being consumed in private schools? Is it being consumed in the low-cost settlement? Where, in your opinion, is aid being consumed?
Yeah.
To work to ensure that there is no exclusion that people are favored at the expense of others.
Yeah, so we, for a start, we give discounts to public schools. So when we're selling to public schools, they don't pay the same as private schools. But actually, the vast majority of our schools are public schools. And that's for a number of reasons. That's because most of our work is through projects with organisations like Aga Khan Foundation. They work in public schools. They identify areas in Kenya where there's a need for a literacy push, such as Kwale and Mombasa. And they say, okay, let's do an intervention in 35 schools here, and let's try and improve results in that area. The Samburu project I mentioned before as well, that's another school that we identified having a need there. We approached a donor and we said, we would love to work here, can you help us to do that? But what we want to be, as we're moving forward, we want to become a sustainable business. We can't be getting grants all the time to supply thousands of schools throughout Kenya. So really, the trick for us is to try and work out a pricing system which works, which is cost effective for schools, where they can see improvements in results, which enable them to justify the cost, but also work for us as a company as well.
Have you had a chance to maybe engage the private schools also? Because it appears like you have done quite something and grants for the public schools. What about the private schools?
Yeah, we're also working in private schools as well. So there's a few around Nairobi that we work with, and the reception from them has been fantastic. Which is interesting because often private schools, they already have devices, they're already using educational software, but the software that they're using is from Europe or from the US. Yeah, exactly. And so it's not immediately obvious to a teacher how that fits into lesson 3 of week 2 of term 1 for class 3 or whatever. So whereas our material, we know that that's not a problem because it's already matched in the curriculum.
That's good. The brief written here. I see there are videos, the animations, the curriculum, there is live skills. In summary, let the viewer get a feel of exactly what these things have to do towards enhancing education. The animations, the life skills.
Okay. So we know that there are different types of learners. There are learners who, when they see something, they understand it. There are learners who, when they hear something, it makes sense. And there are learners who, when they do something, that's when it clicks for them. So often what we're used to doing is we're used to reading material, whether it's on the chalkboard or whether it's in a book, and picking everything from there. But, seeing is believing. If we can see with our own eyes a video about what the new Kenyan Constitution means, or about how algebra works, or about how to make different verb forms in English, if we can see those things, it activates a different part of our brain, and that helps us to understand it, and it also makes it more memorable. So this is quite fun. You can just trace some letters. So kids really enjoying this. I've seen them they do this for hours on end actually. Yeah, you have to be really precise. You have to get it right in the middle for it to stick. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. But that's it. Then you print it out. You can print out from here. But I think that's kind of it. Yeah, if you do short strokes, it's a bit easier. And that's it. So that's great for younger kids. They can trace all the letters. Okay, so this is the app for class 1 and 2, Hadithi. So now let's pretend we're in class 1 and 2, and we're reading a story. So we can choose a different theme. All these themes are tied to the curriculum.
In the house, the one.
And then we choose a story. So we begin by asking some questions about the story, and then we have a summary of the story, and then here we go. So this is the most important thing, that you follow along with your finger to the words.
Familia yangu iliishi katika kijiji cha kona. Kila siku mama alifunga nyumba na kwenda sokoni kuuza mboga.
So it's answer. Kufuata.
Siku moja mama alifika nyumbani mapema. Mlango ulikuwa. Mama alikimbilia jikoni na akaanza kucheka. Ng'ombe alikuwa amesimama kando ya meza. Alisema mwizi.
So you get the idea?
Yes. After that.
So, first of all, they are read the story and the words are highlighted, and they're supposed to follow along with their fingers.
Yes.
The second time, they have to do the same thing, but there's no highlighting.
This time there's no highlighting.
So, they just have to do it from hearing the audio.
Yes.
And then the third time, they have a go at reading it themselves. And I'll just flick through this quickly, because at the end of that, we have some games I want to show you.
Hongera. Sasa tunaenda kujibu maswali kuhusu hadithi hii.
So there's some comprehension questions, and then some games.
Tengeneza sentensi.
This is forming sentences.
Yeah.
Sikiliza.
Ghafla, mama alisikia mlio wa vikombe na sahani vikivunjika.
Sasa ni wakati wako kusoma sentensi.
Okay. Ghafla, mama
Alisikia mlio wa vikombe na
na
sahani vikivunjika.
Ni neno gani linatuambia ni lini?
Ghafla.
Ghafla. Ni neno gani linatuambia ni nani?
Mama.
Oh!
Yeah.
Mama. Alifanya nini?
Alisikia mlio.
Alisikia mlio.
Alisikia mlio.
You try.
Alisikia mlio wa nini?
Wa vikombe na sahani.
Wa vikombe na sahani. Vikifanya aje?
Vikivunjika.
Vikivunjika.
Yes. After that.
Tusome hadithi hii tena.
So, first of all, they are read the story and the words are highlighted, and they're supposed to follow along with their fingers.
Yes.
The second time, they have to do the same thing, but there's no highlighting.
This time there's no highlighting.
So, they just have to do it from hearing the audio.
Yes.
And then the third time, they have a go at reading it themselves. And I'll just flick through this quickly, because at the end of that, we have some games I want to show you.
Hongera. Sasa tunaenda kujibu maswali kuhusu hadithi hii.
So there's some comprehension questions, and then some games.
Tengeneza sentensi.
This is forming sentences.
Yeah.
Sikiliza.
Ghafla, mama alisikia mlio wa vikombe na sahani vikivunjika.
Sasa ni wakati wako kusoma sentensi.
Okay. Ghafla, mama
Alisikia mlio wa vikombe na
na
sahani vikivunjika.
Ni neno gani linatuambia ni lini?
Ghafla.
Ghafla. Ni neno gani linatuambia ni nani?
Mama.
Oh!
Yeah.
Mama. Alifanya nini?
Alisikia mlio.
Alisikia mlio.
Alisikia mlio.
You try.
Alisikia mlio wa nini?
Wa vikombe na sahani.
Wa vikombe na sahani. Vikifanya aje?
Vikivunjika.
Vikivunjika.
Vizuri. Sasa ni wakati wa kuendeleza.
Can I show you the spelling?
Okay.
Meza.
Za.
Za. Meza. Endeleza. Me.
Za. Then.
Vizuri.
So we split the word into two. You spell half,
Oh.
and now we spell za.
Okay.
Ah.
Oh. So the whole of it now?
Yeah. Go on.
That's long, eh?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, in summary, I would like you to address the camera there, and I would want you to appeal to the parent and the teacher. Let them see the value in Elimu, exactly what they stand to gain. Then summarize from there.
Wow, okay. So I would like you to search on your phone for Elimu in the Android App Store and try and find our app. So we've got the KCPE Revision app. If you've got a child in class 7 or 8, they can do past papers like you've seen, and also to search for Hadithi, which is our literacy app for class 1 and 2, which really believe can improve reading and writing in children aged 6 and 7 and have huge benefits for them later on in life.
Thank you very much. On that account, viewer, we come to the end of Education Matters. I do believe that you will see the value of education delivered through technology, courtesy of Elimu and NTech. NTech is education for technology.
Thanks, Kamal.